I'm not even getting high. I'm not even getting high. What am I fucking doing here? Hi. So I could open this video by saying something incredibly clickbaity like, I almost got high last night. But that annoys the shit out of me, and I hate it when people do that and use clickbait shit. Like, I will literally unsubscribe. So I'm not going to say that because it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper, never be up in the magazine. Now I have that song in my head. So I had a wild drug dream last night. Get comfy. Grab a snack, grab a drink, grab a coffee, grab whatever the fuck. It's no secret that I've been stressing the fuck out recently, trying all this stuff about getting back to the States and feeling overwhelmed and defeated and discouraged and depressed and just over the fuck whelmed. However, dreaming, especially drug dreams, are so rare for me. Like, I mean, I generally don't really even dream that much. But lately, I don't know if it's like the moon or whatever the fuck is happening, but my dreams have been wild. Last night was my second drug dream in about a month, which is even more wild for me. I don't really remember if I mean, it's kind of annoying because you never really actually use. You know what? Did I use in one of them? I don't think I wrote that one down. Whenever I do have weird, like, specific dreams, I tend to want to write them down, especially if they have my mom or my dad in them. So my drug dream last night was fucking wild, and I figured I'd make a video about it. I know why, because I just said I've been stressed out, and I've been thinking about and figuring out and overwhelmed about how I'm going to get me and my puppy child, India, back to the States. And if you don't know my story, I've been stranded in Mexico since 2020 after I lost absolutely everything in a really, really ugly probate case after both of my parents died within a 3-month period of time at the end of 2019. And I was already here in Mexico. I couldn't afford a lawyer. I lost everything. It was a fucking Jerry Springer episode, like, for real, my life. And then also, I was a junkie for 17 years, and I'm a little, actually almost, am I closer to 6 years now? I don't count the days. I mean, I count, like, the huge milestones. Like, I'm 5.5 plus years into recovery. The last time I used dope was November 9th, 2019. And then, like, 4 years, I think, around that for everything else, like booze and coke and all those things, and benzos. So I know why I'm having these dreams, because I've been stressed the fuck out. And actually, recently, I reached out to an old friend of mine, who knew me when I was strung out, and he was strung out at the same time, but we never really got high together. But he's sober now, in AA, and doing great, over 5 years, almost 6, sober. And I reached out to him because he's like, here and there, we've messaged here and there, and he came down to Mexico one time, messaged me, asked me where I was located, all the things. So it's like, it's amazing. It's true. It really is truly an amazing feeling to see people who you were strung out with, old friends of yours, thriving in recovery. It really is like this amazing feeling. Anyways, I reached out to him because I know he's got a lot of friends. I know he's in AA, and I know that AA in Boston is phenomenal. So I said, listen, do you have any connections in any programs up there that, like, might give me a job? Because I'm trying to get back to the States and brainstorming ideas, because the woman that I know in Texas is kind of dropping the ball. So I'm keeping my options open, although it is way too expensive to go back to Boston. I never thought I even wanted to go back to Boston, but honestly, I never really wanted to leave Boston, like, forever, ever. Anyways, the point to that story is that seed was planted in my brain, like, because it got me thinking, like, what it would be like to go back home. Because in a lot of ways, I'm kind of homesick because I miss my life. Not the junked out life. It's hard to explain, and I'll get more into it later. But I had already kind of been thinking and brainstorming and daydreaming about what it would be like to be back up in that area. So I know this is why I had this drug dream last night. So this is what happened. Now I'm sorry because I know dreams are chaotic, and this is going to sound chaotic because it certainly was chaotic. But like, I was with my ex best friend, my old high school best friend, DJ. I used to call him David John, and he overdosed a few years back. In my reality, like in the reality, he had like a face and the body that was Mark Wahlberg. So even though that's kind of crazy. So even though it was technically my friend DJ, he looked like Mark Wahlberg. So we were together, and I don't remember knowing or thinking. And I was clean in my dream, in recovery in my dream, and I think he was newly sober or newly clean. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I was hanging out with him. It was back in Boston, back home. I don't know if I was visiting or if I moved back up there, but we went to this like car garage looking place. It was like this big car garage with like old cars and parts and stuff. It was like big, huge, right? And I don't know if I knew it was a dealer's place or not. I can't imagine I knew, because I remember we got there and we were kind of like shooting the shit and hanging out. And I think it came up in conversation like, oh, this is so and so's place. And I didn't know who it was at the time in my dream. But during that early conversation, I realized that it was a dealer's place. But it didn't really bother me because, again, like I don't know. I didn't care that much. I thought he was clean, and I think he was. But in the dream, we were chilling out. We were like on these old looking couches, again, in this big, huge, like car garage looking thing. The dude, the dealer, was sitting at like a desk, like an office desk in the back room. Like it was like similar to like a gangster movie, right? Where they're in like those old garages and like the guy, the boss, or like the big dude is like sitting in a office space in the middle of like this big random looking car garage. It's the best I can describe it. I don't know how getting high came up in the conversation, but my friend ended up buying some dope, like wanting to get high. But it wasn't dope. Like it wasn't like the half-gram bags that I used to buy. It was like a liquid thing. It was like a tube, and it was like a liquid. And he put a couple drops like up his nose, right? But it was dope. It was heroin. Remember, it took a second to hand him, and he was like, "Oh wow, that's good." And he was talking to the dealer in the back. And it was in that moment when he said, "Oh, wow, that is good." And even just saying this, it's that warm and fuzzy that I reminisced on in my dream. And for an instant, I thought, "Oh, I bet you that feels good." But I didn't want to get high, right? I said to him, I go, "Listen, do I know this dealer? Like, do I know this dude? Like, has he been around a long time? Because I got high for 17 years straight in Boston. So, like, if you were a dope dealer, I probably knew you, saw you, bought from you, fought with you. I was a menace." So he was like, "Inch, yeah. Like, you used to buy from him all the time." So I remember I looked in the back room, and I said, "What's his name again?" And I think he said his name. Like, not that I didn't have any dealers named Chris. I don't know why the name Chris came up. But he said his name, and all of a sudden it hit me. Because the dude in my dream was like a skinny looking dude with kind of red. He was a white dude, which is weird because there's really no white dealers in Boston. But he was like an Irish looking dude. And it just hit me like, oh my God, he lost so much weight. Like I didn't recognize him. So I started walking into the back room, like into this dude's office. And I was like, I remember physically having my hand over my mouth, like in this like insanely shocked feeling, walking back to his office and going, "Bro, do you know who I am?" And he looked at me, he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Of course I know who you are." And I was like, "Why didn't you say anything to me?" And this is what he said, like literally verbatim in my dream. He goes, girl, because I thought you were in your peaceful girl era. I was like, my peaceful girl era. I remember laughing in my dream. And I started saying to him and reminiscing about how miserable I used to be. I was like, oh my God, I know. I used to be such a mess, right? Like we used to fight. If, first of all, if you were my drug dealer back from the years of 2004, no, 2003 to 2020, I'm sorry. Because I was such a bitch. Like, I would constantly fighting, screaming at, yelling at. I was such a hard fucking client to have. I was a fucking menace. And I was constantly fighting with my dope dealers. I mean, they did make me wait for hours on end, but still. So we were kind of reminiscing about that for a second and laughing about it. And I was like, bro, I didn't fucking recognize you. You lost so much weight. I walked back into like the common room where oh 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 it's okay. Oh oh oh, oh. Shh. No, it's okay. It's okay. You okay? You okay? You okay? It's okay, Mama. It's just sneezes. It's just sneezes. It's okay. You'll be okay. So I walked back into the room and was chatting with my friend, and I said to him, I was like, bro, has this guy, like, has he been caught in the past several years, like, since I've been gone? He was like, yeah, dude. He was catching me up. He's like, he was raided this time and shut down this time and all these things. And I was like, all of a sudden, it just kind of hit me. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I remember thinking, if the cops show up, what? I'm not even getting high. I'm not even getting high. What am I fucking doing here? I don't want to be fucking arrested in recovery while I'm like actually doing the right thing, like in real life. And then the dude, the dealer, got up to leave. And I don't know why this is important, but he was like driving like an old caddy, right? Like an old school caddy. It was a nice car. Then he just drove away. And it's kind of fuzzy after that. It's kind of fuzzy. Like, I don't remember if the cops did show up or what. I think I kind of woke up because I remember seeing him pulling back up again to like the garage. Because, like I said, it was like a big car garage. It had like literally a big garage door that was open and the entranceway, like the driveway. And he was like pulling up in this old caddy. And I don't remember if the cops showed up. Like, I don't know why that would be important in my dream. But I think that's when I woke up. But I woke up, and it's not so much, excuse me, ma'am, can you stop snacking on my skin, please? She loves the taste of my lotion. I woke up not even so much about the fact that it was a drug dream. It wasn't so much the actual drug being present in my dream, just the lifestyle. And I'm not going to lie, I woke up kind of feeling homesick. Like, it kind of made me sad, and I don't know how to explain this, but when I was getting high, like, and I think this is the same for all of us, but we don't care. Like, I didn't care about anything other than getting high. I didn't think about what I was doing to myself. I was, literally damaging myself and harming myself and sticking myself and neglecting myself. And I didn't care about my next arrest. I didn't care when I got arrested. The only thing that I cared about was the next high. So with recovery and with healing, I would hope for all of us, for me at least, with healing and recovery comes self-worth and self-love and caring about myself. I care about myself and the consequences today. Like, I'm not willing to accept the consequences of that lifestyle anymore because I have things that I care about, myself included, and my puppy child, and I have responsibilities to myself and to my puppy child and to this life that I'm trying to create and build for myself. I'm not willing to throw it all away anymore. But years ago, for 17 years of my heroin addiction, I didn't care. I was willing to throw everything away for my next high. And it's that I don't know how else to word it, lack of responsibility. It's that carelessness that I was reminiscing on. Not that I want to go back to it, But there is a luxury, there is a certain amount of luxury in that carelessness, in not caring. It is a luxury not to care about what happens to you, in a way. Like the consequences, I was okay with all the consequences for so long. And that's why a lot of people say, and myself included, it is a luxury to not care. It is a luxury to not have responsibilities to anyone or to anything. It is a luxury to live like that in a lot of ways. And that keeps us stuck for so long. And that's a main reason why I never wanted to stop using, was because I didn't think I had the ability to be responsible, right? Or I didn't want to be responsible. I didn't want to have any responsibility. And this is a lot of times why I say that I hate how this whole culture has become so dependent on diagnoses. And everyone's like, oh, this is a day in the life of someone with ADHD, and this is the day in the life of, this is me with depression, and I'm depressed, and I have this, and BPD, and all these diagnoses all over social media, people defining themselves. Because I truly think that it is a way and an excuse, people using their diagnoses as excuses to stay stuck. You're more okay with being irresponsible when you have a good excuse. So I woke up from this dream feeling like reminiscent on those days of carelessness, because now I'm stressed the fuck out and overwhelmed trying to get back to the States and dealing with all of these things that are coming at me left and right. And oh my God, I don't have enough money, and am I going to be able to even get back to the States, and what's going to happen when I land, and where the fuck am I going to go, because I have nowhere to go. I don't have a home anymore in the States, and I have her to take care of and myself to take care of, and no job and no income, and do I have enough? And all of these things, right, are essentially, I'm responsible. I am 100% responsible for myself today. And that sucks sometimes, doesn't it? I think it's going to rain. You can see the cloud that just like parked right over my fucking window. So, I mean, it wasn't so much about the drug dream. And I don't know if anybody else is struggling with drug dreams, but usually there's a message in and of itself. And it's not so much I miss that lifestyle, but in a lot of ways it was easier. And this is why I always say it was so much easier to be a junkie, because I didn't have a care in the fucking world. And it was so easy to blow everything off and to be irresponsible and to not follow through on much of anything and to neglect myself, because I was a junkie, and that's what junkies do. But today, I don't have that luxury. I am a fucking responsible adult today who is trying to build and create a brand new fucking life. And yes, it feels impossible. But guess what? So did stopping using heroin after 17 years. That felt fucking impossible. I almost got high last night, but it was all a dream. I would love to be able to go back to Boston if I had enough money. Like if I had a reliable income, like if I can get monetized on here and like start making money and like start making any money, it would be nice to go back to Boston, like as this version of me. But until then, we're going to keep on trucking on and doing the damn thing and putting one fucking foot in front of the other. And it's so annoying sometimes. Like, literally, I want to scream and cry at the same time, a lot of times, because I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to be responsible sometimes. I don't want to do the right thing sometimes. Sometimes I just want to say fuck it. But I don't have the luxury of saying fuck it anymore, because I'm a fucking grown-up, and grown-ups handle their shit. So I think that's all I have to say. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the things, trying to get me monetized. And I'll see you in the next video. Stay right there. Babe. Babe. You gotta move, Mama. Mama's gotta sit down, baby. Come on. Over here. Over here.